Hey, Helly,
Hey, yo,
who do you think won the fight between me and the Ice Maker?
the ice maker.
I think I won the fight, Ellen.
No, you did not win the fight, Manny Pacquiao.
We are late this week. This is CJ Haddock with show producer H2 Helen Haddock. You've reached the Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast again. Helen,
Yes,
where can they get us?
they can get us at our Twitter handle, which is Pain and Anger Comedy.
It's actually at Pain Anger Comedy.
Well, everybody knows it's at something. I mean, what kind of Twitter handle would it be if it wasn't at something?
Send us emails at painangercomedy@gmail.com.
Find us on iTunes, rate us,
And
give
subscribe.
us a nice rating.
We're also on YouTube now and SoundCloud. And also you can get episodes directly from our website, painangercomedy.wordpress.com. A lot of stuff this week. We are late because Helen will not drag her butt down to the studios here.
Dude, I'm working. What do you want?
We got strange news. We got heavy bags being hung in the garage. I fought with the ice maker. We're going to talk about meditation, a whole bunch of stuff. From an undisclosed basement location in North America, the Pain Anger Comedy Podcast is just ahead. Stay tuned. What's up, man? Well, it's we are so late getting down here. So angry at you, Ellen.
Listen, I'm terribly sorry, but there were some lives that needed saving.
Ellen, I'm becoming a man of leisure,
Pleasure, leisure.
pleasure, and leisure, and I'm free to do the Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast almost any time.
Sorry, some of us have to make a living. Some
But-
of us have to pay the bills.
You're not available all the time,
I'm sorry.
and that's probably a whole separate show.
It is. When you wink at the UPS lady, I'm going to know that you're having an affair.
Helen's emotional abandonment of CJ special
It
coming
is
up.
not emotional abandonment. It is, I work too much.
That's
You
right.
yell at me.
You do
I
work
work
too much.
too little. You yell at me.
I don't yell at you when you work too little.
Yes, you do.
No, that's silly.
Because when the paycheck comes in and you're like, "Brah, where's the pay?"
I don't even. That's not me. Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
Totally.
let's start with me and the ice maker.
When the ice maker won, which I don't understand because you are the only person that had dilemmas and issues and frustrations with the ice maker.
You see, Helen, what had happened was
Tell me what had happened.
I had spent a rather exhausting day in the garage trying to drill some holes in the ceiling of our garage
Unsuccessfully.
to hang a heavy bag. Unsuccessfully initially, but after 12 or 14 holes, I
And
found
your wife buying you a stud finder.
I found two studs. I've hung the huge piece of hardware, and there's a heavy bag now hanging in the garage. The heavy bag, by the way, is named Helen.
The heavy bag was held up by Helen so that CJ could put the clips on it. So I don't want to hear about you having problems with muscles because this girl's got some.
In large gold lettering, the word Helen is scrawled across the heavy bag. I find it helps me hit it.
I'm not going to tell you what I've named CJ, so let's
So
just leave that
I
alone.
had come in from the garage area after having spent a very exhausting and sort of annoying time, and I went to get an ice cold glass of water. It's a fairly simple process, but I went to go to the ice maker, and this goddamn ice maker. Since we moved into the new place, this ice maker has been a little temperamental with me. Sometimes it'll like hold back ice cubes, and then you'll press the glass against the lever thing, and then you'll
It's like you and your emotions. Sometimes you're like emotionally constipated and then you have emotional diarrhea and you just let it all out.
well, that's a good analogy.
I know.
You would get like 6 buckets full of ice all of a sudden, and it's all over the floor. And I don't like it because you can't get ice when you want it, and then when you don't want it, it's falling all over the place. Mm-hmm. So I had enough, and you were in the kitchen, Helen. You witnessed it.
It was a sight.
You don't see me do that very often.
Well, I mean, losing your mind over an ice maker and tossing the ice bits I'm like finding ice bits all over the place afterwards. Like,
So-
what is your problem? I swear, you were like a woman the day before she has her monthly visitor. You were so angry and so frustrated, like throwing things and chill out. Take some Midol, sister.
Well, what had happened was I got very angry, and I started slamming ice around, and I did actually. Do you remember when I hit the ice maker and it hurt?
Oh.
This thing is hard. I opened the freezer door, hit the ice maker. The ice maker is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt my hand, got pissed off even more, and still didn't have any ice in my goddamn glass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you were trying to accomplish by thinking you were going to beat up the ice maker, but I mean...
You know what it was, Helen? That ice maker, for me, sometimes it's like playing Russian roulette with the ice maker. You just never know. You're either going to get no ice, 1 cube, or 1,000 cubes.
I hate to tell you, I use the ice maker all the time. Never had a problem.
Yeah, all right. Let me just ask you one question. Be honest with our listeners out there.
Yes.
Have I had a problem with the ice maker since I beat it up?
No.
I have not. That ice maker is now behaving.
Oh, yeah. The ice maker's scared of you.
I think so.
Oh, my God.
That ice maker's behaving.
Control yourself there, Rocky Balboa.
So I feel like I have sort of taught the ice maker a lesson.
Tell me something. When you beat up an ice maker, does it put something hot on its eye because, like, it's ice and you normally put ice?
I don't know. I don't know if it was swollen, what it had to do, but I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know.
So you mentioned you got me a stud finder.
I did.
Why don't you tell the audience?
I don't need a stud finder to find a stud, though.
I know. You're sitting right across from one.
Okay. Cocky, line 1, please.
Why don't you tell our listeners the experience you had when you went to Home Depot to buy a stud finder?
Oh, this is, I'm in Home Depot and, I know my way around Home Depot, but, I feel like anytime there's sort of a woman in Home Depot and she's kind of looking around and she doesn't, look completely clueless and she's relatively attractive, it tends to attract the attention of the Home Depot men in their little orange aprons.
Did you just try to sneak in there that you're reasonably attractive? Did I pick that up?
I said reasonably.
That's something right there.
Yeah, listen.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You just called yourself a stud, so chill out there, biscuit.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm there in Home Depot, and, this was after your epic meltdown with the ice maker, and me coming home from work and looking up at the ceiling of our garage, and there is a complete circle of holes drilled in because Captain Brainiac over here was trying to find a stud so that he could hang the heavy bag.
There are 2 screws, just for background. There are 2 screws that go into this bracket. So the first screw I nailed. I nailed that screw, Helen. That first
Don't
screw.
you mean you screwed the screw?
The first screw went right into the stud.
Right.
So I had one good screw in there.
So you screwed the stud.
I had one good screw, and then the corresponding screw had to go in another stud. There was your problem. So I'm frantically searching. So I had to sort of rotate this bracket around the center of the screw that was already fixed. And so I managed to drill a perfect circle of holes, about 10 to 12 holes. Anyway, back at Home Depot.
So I'm walking around kind of looking at stuff, and a gentleman comes up to me and he says, what can I help you find, miss? You look like you're looking for something. And I said, well, I'm headed back to the lumber side. I said, I'm looking for a stud finder. And instantly this guy looks at me and goes, your husband's trying to hang something, isn't he?
Yeah, your husband's trying to hang something.
And I said, yeah, my husband is trying to hang something, and he drilled about 20 holes in the ceiling. We're going to have to go into the garage with a freaking umbrella. You realize that, right?
That's an affront to me. that guy said that. I mean, maybe you just needed to get a stud finder. Why is it your husband was having trouble hanging something?
Well, because most of the time women go in there trying to clean up their husband's mistakes.
I guess. I mean, that must be common because that's what he asked. So
he did, him and his little orange apron.
Anyway, all's well that ends well. The heavy bag, Helen the heavy bag, is hung.
Who held the heavy bag?
You did.
I did.
And the ice maker has been beaten into behavior.
Boy, you're a violent human being. Well, you beat up on shit.
I'm not normally. I'm not normally. That was out of character for me in the kitchen. I really was pissed off at that ice maker.
No, most of the time you're just passive aggressive. So.
Right. Or I yell or grumble.
Right.
Rarely do I take physical action out on inanimate objects.
Yes.
Let's talk about an animate object now, Helen.
What's that?
Following up our 4th of July edition. Poor Comet the dog.
Oh, my poor little baby.
I mean, this huge hound. He's a very large Tennessee coonhound. He's large. I don't know, 125 pounds?
Oh, he's not that big. He's like 80 pounds. He's 80 pounds of loving. He's normally the sweetest, most wonderful dog. He was the greatest dog to walk. Well, probably on the 3rd of July, maybe it was the 4th of July, I was out taking him for a walk, and some knucklehead, probably a couple houses up from where we were walking, decided it was going to be fun to throw off some fireworks. Well, Comet is really sensitive to sounds anyway, and these fireworks in front of him went off, and poor Comet just freaked out. And he has not been the same since. I mean, to the point where this trip that I took to Home Depot was the first time that I actually took him out since the fireworks incident, because poor Kami was so terrified that I would take him into the garage to take him for a walk, and he would just sit down, and you'd see his poor little back legs shake, and it's heartbreaking to see this giant, dog scared to pieces. So I had to I opened my the gate of my car, and he climbed right in, and took him to Home Depot, and because Home Depot's pet friendly, you could take him to Home Depot. And so now the other day we tried to get him to go back outside. Nope, he would not. He goes 2 steps and sits down, 2 steps and sits down.
This dog needs Prozac. He's a mess when it comes to thunderstorms or fireworks.
He is. He's always been really sensitive to sounds. I bought him a thunder shirt, and I bought him a thunder shirt. And the other day when we took him outside, we had him outside for a while, and we were just trying to get him hopefully acclimated to sounds again, but he was like freaking out. And I read somewhere that in order to get dogs to calm down, you give them milk, because milk has a lot of tryptophan in it.
Yeah.
And so Alex gave him milk, and literally this dog calmed right down.
How about that?
A little milk. Milk does the body good.
Anyway, he's a maniac. He is a nutcase every time it
so sweet.
thunders. He's a big old softy, but he's nuts. I'm reading here, Helen, on the interweb. Dr. Marty Becker of VetStreet.com says that it's logical for dogs to hate fireworks because they are like thunderstorms times 10.
Of course, and dogs have such sensitive hearing that, it's hard for them to process why these things are just blowing up all around them.
And it's the unpredictability, this vet says.
Of course. And I mean, these vets in, Cesar Milan, he says that he should...
He says, maintain the dog in a calm, submissive state.
Right. So Cesar says that you should not really give it a lot of attention, and you should try to pass over it. And, anytime the dog hears a noise like that, you should give him a squeaky toy to associate it with something he likes. But it's so hard when this poor dog is like shaking. My heart breaks for him. He's shaking. You just want to kind of hug him and love him.
Yeah, my heart doesn't break for him. My heart sort of gets annoyed.
You don't have a heart.
It gets annoyed. Like, why are you wasting everyone's time, you silly hound?
Kind of like how you wasted everyone's time freaking out over the ice dispenser.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But my problem is rage, not fear.
Your problem is fear that the ice maker would not give you ice ever again.
Psychiatrists will tell you that anger is a product of fear.
It is.
And I guess
you felt subservient to the ice machine.
And I wasn't in control, Helen. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do.
Relax, buddy. There's only so much you can control in life.
All right. We're going off the board this week, Helen, with the advertisements. At least one of them.
Oh, good.
It's not too early to do one, is it?
BoringStamps.com or
Razors.com.
Actually,
look at your...
I know. That's what I'm saying. Stamps.com.
Yeah, I think you have Stamps.com.
HerkyJerky.com. Oh, Jesus. You kind of blew my eardrums out with that.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry
you.
about that. But although that's pretty good way to intro this next advertisement, because I'm not plugging stamps or whatever,
lines,
soda. I'm plugging a book. This week, wherever books are sold, Running with the Devil, a backstage pass to the Wild Times, Loud Rock, and the down and dirty truth behind the making of Van Halen. One of my favorite groups of all time, Helly.
Mm-hmm.
Noel Monk, M-O-N-K, was the road manager and then the manager of Van Halen for about 12 or 13 years, and finally got to write a book. Understood that actually as part of the settlement when he got canned, he had to wait like 15 or 20 years to write the book, and the book is out. Running with the Devil. Helen, how many days did it take me to read that book?
I don't know, 2?
2 days. It's a great read.
I think you live vicariously through this book.
Perhaps so. Beginning in 1978, Van Halen's rise was one of the most thrilling the rock world had ever seen. Their mythos, an epic party with a sweaty, sexy, finger-tapping guitar solo as an encore. During this infamous run of success, debauchery, and drama, few people were closer to the band than manager Noel Monk, a man who had worked with some of rock's biggest and most notorious names. He spent 7 years, actually, with Van Halen, serving as their manager until 1985, when he exited amid controversy, infighting, and egos which consumed the band. Great band, by the way. Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2 are probably two of the top 5 rock records ever made. Complete with 16 pages of never-before-seen photos of life with the band, Running with the Devil offers Monk's backstage view of Van Halen's journey from obscurity to headliners, only to watch it fall apart. Messy, loud, and most of all fun, this is a look inside Van Halen unlike any you've ever seen. Running with the Devil, William Morrow Publishers, available where books, audiobooks, digital books are sold. Running with the Devil, great book, Helly. And speaking of the devil, I'll be right back, and so will Helen, on the Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast.
Only one of us has horns, though.
I think an advertisement for a book, honey, assumes that our listeners are well-read people.
Well, I would assume that they are. Tell me something, though.
Yes, Helen.
Is it the tight spandex pants that draws you to Van Halen?
No, Helen.
Is it the aqua-netted, teased-out hair?
It's the music, Helen.
Is it the groupies?
It's the music. Eddie Van Halen changed the way guitars are played.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I think I did see them live once in 1980 and 2 when I was a freshman at Duquesne University.
Yeah.
Of the Holy Ghost in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I was 4.
It was a great show. You were 4 at the time.
I was 4.
That's great. So I'm at a Van Halen concert, and you were 4.
Right. You were at a Van Halen concert, and I was watching Elmo on Sesame Street.
That's great. Ultimate party band, Van Halen. Great.
Right.
The first 2 albums are fantastic. And then, of course, you got the Sammy Hagar influence later. But
we could do a whole episode on the fact that, you know, a lot of your generations and some of my generation's bands are, mostly your generation, though, bands, tight spandexy pants, sort of androgynous-y,
Yeah,
the David Bowie, the Freddie Mercurys. Yet you guys are all these chauvinist sort of guys like, I'm a man.
That is kind of a weird little anomaly.
It's a dichotomy.
And an anomaly at the same time. It's a dynomaly.
Right.
Anyway, great book, great read. And I'm a big fan of theirs.
You can't say that title without singing the song in your head.
No, I cannot.
I can't either.
Well, that's good. That's probably why I got that title.
There you go.
All right, Helen. It's time for our Millennial Minute here on the show.
Oh, another one?
I had an interesting conversation with my daughter Bryn this week. She said to me, Dad, working out is not fun. That's why I don't like to do it.
Yeah, Bryn, sorry to tell you, but working out is like running with the devil.
There's a ton of shit in life that millennials out there, I'm speaking to you. Now, listen up, millennials.
Oh, boy, here we go.
There's a ton of shit in your life that you're going to have to do that sucks.
Correct.
That's what being a grown-up is. It largely sucks.
Yeah, you can't wait to grow up, and then you realize how bad it is.
Being a kid is great. Being a grown-up sucks. Ton of shit you hate to do. Working out, one of those things. Right. Exercise is important. So is eating right. Eating right's not fun either.
Neither of the two things are fun. Eating right is not fun. Exercising is not fun. When I am doing my payo or walking or running or whatever I'm doing, I am hating every minute of it. But it's something that you have to do.
But you see, you millennials out there, you think everything has to be so goddamn fun.
Everything has to be fun. Everything has to have instant gratification, and you guys are entitled to everything.
Let me just say, millennials, the best gratification is delayed gratification.
They don't understand the concept of delayed gratification, unfortunately. No, I was reading something today, and some people like to, I'm 38, we'll be 39, and some people are trying to group my age group into millennials, and you know, there's a whole uproar about that, and they call us the sandwich generation because we're kind of sandwiched in between the millennials and sort of the baby boomer, the end of the baby boomery kind of generation. But you know, it's truly my generation that grew up with the internet. Like, I remember a time before the internet, and I remember a time after the internet, and you know, it's my teenage years that the internet was born. It was through my teenage and high school and early college years that, you know, heck, I remember spending hours on MIRC and chat rooms and in hockey chat rooms. And
what the hell's MIRC?
MIRC was Internet Relay Chat.
Oh, wow.
I met some, you know,
interesting guys,
very special people on there. You know, and it was, you know, it's something that, you know, for me, it was, I look back on those years and I think, oh my gosh, this is like, you know, what I grew up with, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, we were talking the other day about cell phones. I mean, I remember the brick cell phone that my mom had in her purse, but then I also remember getting my first phone, which was an Ericsson, and then it went into flip phones, and now it's just, you know, the phones get smaller, but people's brains also get smaller.
So millennials out there, now come on. Stop it out there. Not everything's fun. Most things suck.
Right. I hate adulting.
That's why the Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast exists, because there's a lot to complain about out there. It's okay to complain about it, but, you know, not everything in your life's going to be great. So, Bryn, you know, working out does suck, you know, but it's good for you.
Here's what sucks. Working out sucks. Working sucks. You know, planning for your future sucks. All of that stuff sucks, but you have to do it.
What do you think? Like 16 out of every 24 hours of a day as an adult just totally blows?
I'd say more than that because, you know.
Well, what about sleep? I mean, that's a good part. Right?
Well, I was going to say, I normally get, you know, a little more than that for sleep, but.
Hey, guys and ladies, in a related subject to working out, it's summer swimsuit season, and please
don't
stop.
Show your flab.
Stop with the selfies. The bathing suit selfies must stop.
Oh.
Yeah, this is my public service announcement for the week, Helen. You showed me a photograph this week on
Facebook.
Was it Facebook?
It was Facebook.
That, you know, you cannot put these photographs of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You can't do it.
Listen, some people are like, hey, I'm large and in charge and proud of it. So, you know, there's another dichotomy where, you know, you say, when is it okay to be, you know, proud of your body, and when is it okay to be a little more modest? You
can't use dichotomy twice in the same show.
It's a great word.
Did you also say large and in charge? Is that what you said?
Did say large and in charge.
That's something. Well, some of these people with these bathing suit selfies are large and not in charge. It is a nasty thing to be looking at that stuff this summer, folks. Now, if you look good in a bathing suit, don't you think you know it, Helen? Don't you?
I would think that you do, and I would think that you know it if you don't look good in a bathing suit.
That's my point. Let's take me as an example. Now, I know I shouldn't be posting pictures of myself in a bathing suit.
There's no good way for me to answer that.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's
just leave it where
set
that
me
is.
off
but
on a cliff and threw me overboard.
I know I shouldn't be doing it. Now, I have a nice upper torso and shoulders, but you're never going to see a full body shot of Big Papa. You're never going to see it.
You know, it's those things where if people want to post pictures of, like, you know, themselves in a bathing suit, do the super high up selfie stick where you're just kind of seeing your face, and maybe women can show a little cleavage. I mean, boys like that, I would imagine. But I
don't want to get into cleavage, Helen.
Don't, you know,
my point is,
you gotta save some of the bits for later.
My point is, out there, people, you know, first of all, selfies, I think, are a self-indulgent act anyway. Now, I'm guilty of an occasional one.
Every once in a while, no big deal. Like, okay, every once in a while, I'll send something out on Snapchat, and it's normally something like stupid, like if I'm stuck at work or something like that and I'm miserable about it, you know, I'll send a dumb little selfie with a sticker, but I rarely will post something on Facebook. There's someone that I know that doesn't listen to this show, thank God, who posts a selfie every single day.
Yeah, not good.
And it's the same pose over and over and over again. And
don't take pictures of yourself in bathing suits. Hell, you know those old style bathing suits, those woolen ones, the full body ones
Oh, geez, no.
with the red and white horizontal stripes. That was
a
shirt.
burkini?
Yeah, if I could get one of those, I should probably look into one of those. If I could get one of those, that I would think a picture of me would be acceptable in that type of bathing suit. But
Horizontal
anyway,
stripes are not flattering.
yeah. So, well, I don't know. But Newman wore one in Seinfeld also in the pool episode. But anyway, back to you millennials. We're soft as a society. Life is meant to suck the life force from you. That's what life is. Life is meant, folks, young children, millennials, to suck the life out of you. Your bosses, your coworkers, shitty girlfriends. That's all part of the pageantry of beginning to die. You know, you don't get, the real world crushes the life out of you. That's all. You know, the people are so soft now that there's such a thing as verbal abuse. But I may have talked about this before. Back in my day, there was no such thing as verbal abuse or physical abuse for that matter.
Well,
I'm not
listen,
saying that's a good thing.
it's not a good thing, but
But, you know, Christ, I mean, I should be able to yell once in a while.
kids nowadays are not used to things like that. I mean, I'm pretty tough. I think with my son, I don't hit him or anything, but you know, when it comes to yelling, I do yell on occasion because I reserve the right to yell.
I've never heard you yell one time.
Oh, yes, you have.
At me, yeah, I've heard you.
Oh, I have yelled.
Do you mean just like a stern talking to, or do you mean
Oh,
like,
no, I mean freaking out.
Anyway, kids out there, millennials, come on now. I learned something about my sleeping problem I wanted to share with the audience.
What's that?
Apparently, there's this thing where I suppose it's a mild form of meditation, but apparently when you're trying to get to sleep, you simply, in your mind, you don't say it out loud, but in your mind, when you inhale, you say the phrase "sa," and then when you exhale, you say the phrase "om." So
Sound?
sa, om, sa, om. Maybe next week I'll do 45 minutes of sa, om. But anyway, I tried it this morning to get back to sleep after Helen left the house at, I don't know, 3:35 or whatever the hell time it was. And
She works hard for the money.
swear to God, it worked.
Shut up.
It worked. I was out within 5 minutes. So out there, if you're having trouble sleeping, and hopefully you're not sleeping
You
through
guys
this
don't
broadcast.
understand what he goes through to go to sleep because
Oh, it's a process.
it's, first of all, it's a process, and second of all, we have the head gear that he puts on, and then for a while it was watching TV, and then it was reading books, and then I swear to goodness, the next step is you climb into bed and I just whack you over the head with a frying pan.
Where was I? Sleeping. Yeah, you remember the brainwave music I used to play?
Oh my god.
How about that? You used to love that, right? So anyway, we'll see if this works. Sa home.
Please don't ever let me hear you saying that.
You ever watch The Odd Couple?
Yes.
That reminds me. Oscar was trying to tell Felix how to meditate, and he said, this is probably not going to make the podcast, but he said, all right, repeat after me. Oh, Watagu Siam. Got some surprises for you later in the show, Helen.
Oh goodness.
Oh yeah, we're gonna light you up today like a candle.
Oh.
Helen, what do you got over there?
You know, I'd like to demand a recount. I'd like the election to be revoted because you got something really cool to say today. You had the Running with the Devil book.
Well, I can't help it if William Morrow Publishers decided to ask me to plug their book.
I have stamps.com, which are wonderful and fabulous, but it's no Running with the Devil.
Pays the bills.
Sure. I mean, I personally love to send out postcards and letters and everything else. In fact, I bought a couple of cards today when I was at the store. And I come home and then I'm looking for stamps and I can't find any. So
Oh, but yes, you can.
the best way to solve my problems is to go to stamps.com. Think about how much time I have wasted going to the post office, driving there, parking. Stamps.com is just the better way to get postage. I will never have to go to the post office because I'm already there. I'll use my home computer and printer to get official U.S. postage for any letter or package, and the mailman, who winks at you daily because you're home, comes and picks it up. With Stamps.com, everything you can do at the post office, you can do at your desk. Except you can't really stare at the ladies with the funny hair who work in the post office.
That's true.
And it's at a fraction of the cost, but it also at a fraction of the expense. I use Stamps.com, so sign up for Stamps.com and get special introductory deals on postage, supplies, everything you might need. You can also sign up for a special 4-week trial that includes a postage bonus and a digital scale. Don't wait. Stamps.com is waiting for you. Before you do anything else, go to Stamps.com and never go to the post office again.
Thanks, honey. The Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast, Hijinks, resumes in a minute. You know, honey, 2 endorsements this week of actual products used here in the Haddock House.
Wow.
We used I read the book, read the Van Halen book, and of course we do use Stamps.com.
That we do.
All right, honey, a couple of things here, a couple of fun things on the way home here.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Are we driving it home? Are we rounding third base?
We're
maybe
headed toward third base here at this point, but
we got paper rattling. Would you like some paper
well,
rattling, ladies and gentlemen?
Trying to create the impression of paper.
Was that thrilling?
Here we go. Guests watching a fireworks display after a New York wedding were cheering the bridegroom and booms. When the police arrived, the groom ended up under arrest.
For what?
Nassau County Police say they were called to Massapequa early/Saturday and found a big party with professional-level pyrotechnics in the backyard of a residence. 39-year-old Thomas Giglio explained that he was setting off the fireworks to celebrate his wedding.
Oh.
But these were professional, those big...
Like 46 shot.
Yeah, the grapefruit
Yeah.
size things with the huge fuses and the big
Poor
pipes.
Comet would have been so scared out of his fur.
This poor son of a bitch was fined $5,000 and arraigned last Saturday.
Wow.
And here's some bad grammar, which is not usual for the Associated Press. Listen to these 2 sentences, Helen. Tell me what's wrong. His lawyer's name isn't immediately available. No working phone number for him could immediately be found, and a message left at a possible phone number for a relative was immediately returned.
Too many immediatelys.
No. He's talking about his lawyer in the first sentence. His lawyer's name isn't immediately available, and then it goes right on to say no working phone number for him could immediately be found. I think
you can determine that.
They weren't referring to the lawyer, though, Helen, and that's what happens when you put a him after after you describe somebody. It refers to the last referred person.
It's probably a millennial writing that.
Could be some stringer for the AP. Anyway, this poor dude was happy that he got married. By the way, sir, you should never celebrate ever being married, because if you spend any length of time married, you'll know that that's nothing to celebrate.
There are people that would love to be married to me.
There are. There just aren't any in this room right now.
Listen, honey, you can certainly bow out politely.
Yes, I can. But I would never.
Right, because then you'd be miserable forever.
That's right. Helen, next up. Company removes beeping alarm clock in wall vent since 2004.
Ooh, that was enough to drive anybody.
And Helen, this is in Ross, PA. Why don't you find out where Ross, PA is?
I know exactly where Ross, PA is.
Is that out west?
It's in the North Hills.
Okay, that's out west. Now, see, that's what happens.
It's in Pennsylvania. It's right by Pittsburgh.
A heating contractor has removed a beeping alarm clock that's been inside a Pennsylvania family's wall for 14 years.
Dear Lord Jesus. I bet these people were going nuts. I bet you they thought they had ghosts or something.
No, low-cost heating and air conditioning saw the story on KDKA TV last month. So they went to the home and removed the clock this week. Now, here's how the clock got there. Homeowner Jerry Lynn told KDKA that he tied a battery-operated clock to a string in September of 2004 and lowered it inside the wall. So the beeping alarm would pinpoint a spot he needed to drill for TV cable.
He's might not be allowed to use drills because he's not really that's so smart.
Well, if I can use a drill, Helen, this guy can, I guess.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the ceiling in the garage.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the clock fell off the string and has been beeping every day at 6:50 p.m. or 7:50 p.m. depending on whether or not it's daylight savings time.
Wow, that Yinzer is
How about
jacked up.
And he only let it go every day for 13 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would have busted the wall.
A corroded battery was still powering the travel clock. And the contractors removed it through a garage vent, which all's well that ends well, I guess. But it just goes to show you, when you got a drill in your hands, all kinds of weird shit can happen.
Yeah.
And most of it not what you intend to happen.
No, is your husband hanging something?
Right, Helen?
That's all I got to say.
Helen, you ever been to Florida?
Negative.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, I guess we didn't go to Florida. Anyway, Florida man says primates swarm property. A Florida man's got monkey problems, Helen. News outlets reported that Brian Pritchard of Ocala says troops of rhesus monkeys swarm his property 2 to 5 times a day to swipe food in a feeder meant for deer.
Wow.
Okay, there's a couple problems there.
First of all, I didn't know there were wild monkeys in Florida.
Well, there are, and you shouldn't be feeding deer anyway because deer are just nothing more than large rats.
Deer create deer poop, which, on a side note, our dogs have now started feasting.
Do you see why I read this news? Because it leads to so many great things. Why don't you tell everybody about our dogs eating deer shit?
So, our dogs, Alex was outside poop scooping and in the yard, and he came up and it was like he had just had this revelation, and he said, "Mom, I kept finding these brown, round, perfectly circular things in the dog's poop, and I didn't know what they were. And I walked further down, and I saw this pile of deer poop." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "The dogs have been eating the deer poop. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for them." So our dogs are out there, like, nibbling on a little, bunny turd, nibbling on some deer poop. It's like an all-you-can-eat craptastic buffet. Who needs to go to Golden Corral? Go to the backyard. There's crap back there.
So there you go. So this dude's feeding deer, which he shouldn't be doing. Anyway, the cameras he set up to photograph the deer captured dozens of monkeys. He counted as many as 50 monkeys at a time.
Oh, hell no.
He says that these primates have eaten 250 pounds of food in the last few days. Officials suspect that the monkeys came from Silver Spring State Park about 4 miles away. The park shut down recently because of increased monkey presence. It's estimated that 200 monkeys live in the park, but many are seen beyond its boundaries.
So wait, if the park shut down, how are the monkeys, who's taking care of the monkeys?
I think the monkeys are getting busy with each other and making more monkeys. Number one.
They're having monkey love.
Number two, I think some of them have gone outside the, boundaries there. And they're now sort of overrunning the area there.
That's some monkey business.
Mr. Pritchard says the monkeys appear to be, quote, organized and aggressive. So apparently they're having meetings.
They're gangs of monkeys.
They're having some meetings about getting aggressive. So.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, you now think of it. Monkeys.
Yeah.
They're organized.
There's like
and
it's
aggressive,
like Scarface down there.
Well, it's
Monkey
just in time.
Scarface.
Isn't there another Planet of the Apes movie out?
I guess. But
Yeah, there is.
I've never been a fan of those. They just creep me out.
I like
too
the
much.
first one with Chuck Heston, who played an astronaut getting out of a space capsule in a weird planet run by apes. But I haven't seen one since.
Yeah, weirdo-ness.
Haven't seen one since.
Weirdo.
Anyway, watch out for the monkeys down there in Florida, everybody. Helen, this one's a beaut.
There's some monkey business going on in Florida.
This one is a beaut. And I think this goes back to my point about millennials.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Kids have to be given more responsibility earlier in life.
Oh, don't even get me started, child.
These sons of bitches not doing what they're supposed to do or, only want to do shit that's fun. Girl, age 11, stopped for speeding. Says her mom lets her drive.
Oh. Well, then.
Houston, Texas.
11.
Dateline Houston, Texas. An 11-year-old Houston area girl who was pulled over for speeding told police that her mother allows her to drive, but that this was the first time she drove without an adult. Police in Pasadena, Texas, said the girl told them she was driving her 10-year-old brother home after they stopped.
Wait. The 11-year-old was driving the 10-year-old home?
I'll read it again.
Okay.
Police in Pasadena, Texas say the girl told them she was driving her 10-year-old brother home after they stopped her for driving at 49 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. The 25-year-old mother, which may answer some questions, has been charged with 2 counts of child endangerment and is free on $3,000 bond following a Monday court appearance.
She's 25 years old, and she's got a 10-year-old, so she had the one baby at 14 and the other one at like 15. So she's growing up with these kids, first of all. And second of all, they must grow them big in Texas. If an 11-year-old can look like she should be driving a car.
The girl told officers it wasn't the first time her mother had allowed her to drive,
Oh, okay.
but this was the only time she drove alone with her brother.
Wow. Well, at least this is the first time.
11
she's
years
being
old.
risky.
11 years old. Wow. Driving a car.
That's craziness.
You know, Helen, we are recording here during a weeknight. And by the way, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the lateness of putting this week's...
You already talked about that.
Oh,
Next.
I did? Did I apologize?
Yeah. No, you just said we were late because you make your poor wife work so much.
Oh, okay. So I thought we would spice it up with the segment that we have not had for a little while.
Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah. What do you think? You think we're doing the Greek thing?
Oh, yes.
No, we're not.
See? Told you.
Yes, we are. That's right.
That's insane.
It is time for this week's edition of Can You Translate CJ's Greek?
Oh, Lord, have mercy on
The
my
theme
soul.
for this week is July in Greece. And hello, by the way, to all our friends over there on the Isle of Lesbos and Crete. And those are the only 2 islands I know. And Athens, I guess, which is not an island, which is the mainland.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So these are things, Helen, that that you will actually hear on the Greek Isles of Lesbos and Athens. No, Lesbos and Crete. I should look up some Greek islands, probably.
You really should because
Start saying hello.
getting old.
All right. So anyway, this is stuff that you would hear, in Greece in July.
Okay.
What did you tell me this week, Helen, when I hinted that maybe we were going to do some Greek? What's the first thing you said?
No goats.
That's right. You said no goats. And I've tried my best, Helen, to honor that request of no more Greek goat jokes.
Good.
So here we go. Are you ready for the first one, Helen?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Here we go. Kiri oi vom ves photos photias as tromazun ta katsikia mu kaiden paragun gala opos anamentai posboro na tiaxo tin poli ana kaya fetagia tu korio mu. I'm getting pretty good at reading that shit. Man.
Oh my God.
Go ahead. Let it rip, Helen.
Something about the lights in the photo bombing or the fireworks are causing the goats to not produce enough milk. So how am I going to make enough cheese for the village?
Wow. Damn, girl. I got the dinger up, Helen. That is correct. You nailed that one.
Good.
Please, sir, your fire bombs of light are scaring my goats, and they are not producing milk as expected. How can I make much-needed feta for my village?
I really wish we were on YouTube so that people could watch this with cameras because my face just, I can't.
All right, here we go. Number 2, Helen. Are you ready?
What?
Listen up. Opagos den le torage katos ainai fragmenos me para polla gemista fila stafilion. Are you stumped, Helen?
The ice doesn't work because it's stuffed with grape leaves?
Oh, my God. Dude, you are nailing it. My Greek must be getting better. My Greek must be getting better. This is something you would actually hear on one of those islands, Lesbos or Crete.
Oh, Jesus, please help us all.
Especially this time of year. Your ice maker is not working, as it is clogged with too many stuffed grape leaves. I mean, that's stupid. Hello again to my friends on Mykonos, Sparos, Rhodes, Eos, Naxos, Patmos, Hydra, Samos.
God bless Google for you.
Corfu Islands, Skatios, and Lefkada, and Simi, and all of my friends out there in Zakynthos and all the places, out there. So anyway, Helen, there's probably happens a lot there with people, putting stuffed grape leaves in their ice maker.
No, it doesn't.
When do you? That's actually perhaps historically inaccurate because I'm not sure. Does Greece have ice yet? Do they have refrigeration?
We just got a new couch, and I hope you enjoy sleeping on it.
Okay. So apparently there is refrigeration in Greece. The last one, the third and final one, I gave you the dinger there, right? You did it. You got the bell, right?
I got it.
All right. The last one is a little bit long, but hang in there.
Hold on, I need to write it down.
Oh, come on. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're not writing on the back of my copy, are you?
Of course I am. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Don't yell at me. Here we go. Parakalamu. No. Parakalumi na parakolu 17 tin sistaria mas piso. Giati tha paraksun poya arnia kai merikes apotis megaliteres kores mu ta aine ike. Ainai oloi polyskleroi kai polusoi kai ta kanun damavesis syzygus. Whew, that was a mouthful.
Something about please come back to our restaurant because there's going to be a lot of lambs cooking and our oldest daughters are going to be there and they're very strong and they're going to make great wives. Maybe.
That is 3 for 3.
Yeah.
3 for 3. Seriously, that's pretty good. And, anybody on Tinos or Milos or Kea or Amargos or Ios or Kitos or Ithaca. I didn't know Ithaca was an island.
Ithaca?
It's called Ithaca, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, please attend our backyard roast, for there will be much lamb, and several of my older daughters will be there. They are all quite stout and hardy, and would make marvelous wives.
There's something so wrong with you.
Oh, my God. I mean, this is really what you hear out there on Ithaca and Eos and Mios and Eos and Tinos and Paros and all those places, Helen.
Now, you wouldn't hear it in Poland because y'all don't know how to speak yet.
Well, I'll tell you what we do have in Poland, Helen. We have very stout and hardy daughters. I guess we try to marry them off there, too.
I guess so.
Did you have fun with that, Helen?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait. Did I give you the... Good work, honey.
Thank you. I try.
Hey, honey.
Hey, yo.
Do you think the goat jokes are played yet, or you think I can still work those? Work those bad boys.
They're really, really played out.
I don't think so, Helen.
Right. They're like, old Reeboks. They're played out.
I think people tune in specifically just to hear, can you translate CJ's Greek? And if they don't hear a sentence or two with goats in them, they're not, their expectations of that segment are not met. That's what I think.
I think that you are out of your tree hole.
All right. You think that's a bunch of horse poop?
Horse manui.
You think that's a bunch of deer poop?
Deer poop.
All right, Helen.
Monkey poop.
Before we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
You're not aware of this segment. I planned this myself.
Oh, dear Lord.
This segment's called Fake Listener Emails.
Oh.
These are emails listeners would send us if listeners did send us emails. And remember, if you want to send a real listener email, send us an email to painangercomedy@gmail.com. But in the meantime, we don't get a ton of emails. Once in a while I get a comment or something. But we don't get a lot of good questions. And so to bridge the time between now and when people actually do send in interesting emails.
You're thinking that's actually going to happen. We're not that cool.
I don't know. But until then, fake listener emails. Here you go. Ready?
Boy.
Are you ready, Helen?
Mm-hmm.
Dear CJ and Helen, what's with the delays in the episodes? We expect weekly free content. What gives? Signed, John from Portland. P.S. Love the podcast.
Dear John from Portland, CJ Haddock is a workhorse, and he is a slave driver.
Yeah, no, you're the workhorse. I'm the slave driver.
Right. Helen is the workhorse. Helen is supposed to work part-time, and she worked 88 hours last week, 89 hours in the past 2 weeks.
Wait.
It's all to bring home the paycheck.
Let me get some violin music up for you.
Right. She brings the bacon home, and she cooks it.
John, my answer to that email, and thank you for writing, by the way, John from Portland, is that Helen, sometimes it's tough to drag her down here. She would rather sit on the couch and stare at HGTV than actually put out good quality content for fine people like you.
John.
Who don't exist. John in Portland.
Dear John in Portland.
You see, this is a pretty good segment, isn't it, Helen?
Right. Dear John in Portland, Oregon.
Wait to hear the next one.
Are we talking about Oregon or Maine?
I didn't really think.
We'll say he's in Oregon.
All right. Well, John from Portland, Oregon.
John from Portland, Oregon.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Okay.
Dear CJ and Helen. Dear CJ and Helen, when are you going to come clean and tell listeners that you're not this charming and conversational off the air? Signed, Stepson Alex. P.S. Hate the podcast. That's one of the complaints Al has. He says that we're not really like this in real life.
Well, I think that we should put out an unedited episode, and then we can have people see what it's really like. I think it's funny. It's funnier.
Helen,
whole real life bit
it's
is
real.
funnier.
This is real. I only cut out swear words. And I only cut out swear words and then, like stumbles. Anyway, thanks for writing in, Stepson Alex, and wish you liked the podcast. But we are kind of like this most of the time, aren't we, Helen?
I think so.
Don't we have laughs?
I mean, we sometimes have inappropriate laughs, but yeah.
Right. We can't play that.
No.
All right, last one of the week. Last fake listener email. Yo, guys.
Yo.
Is
what's
CJ...
up?
Wait, what does it say? Yeah, yo, guys.
This is your fake email that you can't read.
That's
you
right.
made this up.
No, this is fake listener email from real fake listeners. Yo, guys, is CJ as miserable as he sounds? If so, why? If not, why not? Signed, Joanne from Phoenix. P.S. Can you say hi to my fake listener mom, Jane from Oak Park?
Oh.
Hi, Jane from Oak Park. Thank you for listening. And Joanne from Phoenix, thanks for your question. Helen, is CJ as miserable as he sounds?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
And if so, which I guess you're saying if so, he is. Why?
You know how most people inhale and exhale? CJ complains and complains. It's not an inhale, exhale kind of thing. His life is complain, grumble, complain, grumble, complain.
I think that this is what probably
I think
is.
he has an inflamed hemorrhoid that never goes away.
To the extent you people, boys and girls out there, are entertained by my misery, I think that's good. I think probably Helen being subject to it hours on end. I mean, continually, pretty much, right?
It's on repeat.
It's not as enjoyable or funny, is it?
No, that's when I have to walk away before I physically assault you, Grandpa.
So Joanne from Phoenix, CJ is kind of really as miserable as I do sound here on the podcast. And if so, it's because I've learned the lesson that millennials have not. That is that life is designed to slowly suck the joy from you and slowly bleed you to death until you realize it's a horrible exercise and then you're dead.
No, that's not what life does.
No?
That's what you do to me.
Helen, can you please say hi to fake listener mom Jane from Oak Park, Illinois? Helen, can you say hi to fake listener mom Jane from Oak Park, Illinois?
Hi, Jane from Oak Park, Illinois. Welcome to the CJ and Helen podcast.
Hi, Jane, and thanks to your daughter, Joanne from Phoenix, for sending that lovely, lovely question. Helen right now has one pinky in each nostril, and she has her fingers pushing down her eyes, and she's sticking out her tongue at me. And she's entertained only one person, herself. That's going to do it for this week's Pain and Anger Comedy Podcast. Thank you, show producer H2 Helen Haddock, for whatever it is you do over there.
I live to entertain.
I will keep writing fake listener emails until you people out there start sending some real ones in.
Come on, we need to feel your love.
PainAngerComedy@gmail.com. I do get occasional comments, but send some good questions in. We'll read them on the air.
We could do like an advice column.
We could, and I'm going to come up with some fake advice requests.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
We're on Twitter at PainAngerComedy. You go direct to our website if you like to get episodes, painangercomedy.wordpress.com. Also on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. If you go over to iTunes, please subscribe. You'll get the episodes automatically and give us a good rating.
Is somebody who tweets on Twitter called a twatter?
I don't know. I don't know. Boy, you really are something right now. I think you should be immediately taken to an anteroom and tied to a chair and beaten. Anyway, thanks, folks. This is the craziest ending to a show we've ever had. Hey, listen, everybody. Stay angry.
Stay funny.
We'll see you next week when we get Helen, when we're able to drag Helen down here. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
I have to go get Helen to a hospital or something.
Help. They can get us at our Twitter handle.
Our twiddle hander?
Twiddle handler? It's a problem to screw two studs in one sitting.
Yeah, please. Books. Or soda. Books. Wait, stamps or soda? Beginning in 1978, Van Halen's rise was one of the most thrilling in rock. Oh, Jesus Christ. How about
Lights out, nighty night.
Okay, see again. You're gonna have to, if you're gonna yell, back away from the microphone. For f***'s sakes already.
F*** my
Oh dear. Oh. But I actually got
Give
some.
him a quickie this week. Instead of kissing the ring, do you think they kiss the banana
That's just weird.
of the Godfather monkey?
I can't. We can't say kissing the banana on the.
I didn't even think of
And you
it.
blew out my ears again. Helen, would you please say hi to fake listener mom Joan? Helen, would you please say hi to fake listener mom?
Hi, fake listener mom. Fake park mom.
No.
Oak Park.
What the hell was that? Fake park mom. Jane. Hey, Jane. Jane over there. Put your drink down and be quiet and let me play the outro so we can get out of here and get on with our lives and I can start editing this piece of shit broadcast. Oh, boy. All right.
One more thing, ladies and gentlemen, before you go.
Okay. I can't wait for this. Go ahead.
CJ today.
If that appears at all, it will just be one long beep. I'm not going to even tease the front or the back of it.